Hey everybody, and welcome back for another Adventures of Blink. Today we're going to revisit a product that I looked at back in episode 10. It's called Thunkable, and it's a zero-code way to produce mobile apps. Super easy product. I remember back in that episode, I thought it was absolutely amazing. I went from zero to working app in 30 minutes, and it kind of blew my mind. I was really excited by it, and I'm anxious to get to go try it out here again. Someone commented on that post to say that they were interested in seeing more about Thunkable and actually gave me an idea for something that they wanted to try out. So, Lydia, this one's for you. We're going to take a look at Thunkable again and see if we can build a quote of the day generator. So this is just a quick way to get started with it. Let's hop right into the code. We're going to start into the code. It's a zero code editor. What you see here is a Google Sheet where we put a few quotes together. Just real quick, type them in. I have an author and a message. So the author is in column A, the message is in column B. And I put together some fun quotes that I remember from my past that I've thought were really insightful and deep. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, you can see. The key thing that you have to remember on your Google Sheet is that you need to make sure that it's shared with anyone with the link, and it needs to be set as viewer because you don't want people changing your Google Sheet for you. You might get more than you bargained for in your app that way. Anyway, that's all the setup that's required within the Google Sheet. The next thing we're going to look at is in Thunkable. We're actually going to create this project on the fly. And so if I come over here and do create new project, and I'm just going to call this quote of the day, we'll put this in the entertainment category. I suppose you could call it educational, although if you read the quotes I left on that sheet, they may not be. We're going to leave it public. I'll probably just leave it out here in my project space for people to consume if they would like later on. So this is the Thunkable interface. We've got the screen here in front of us, and we're going to put some stuff on it. So we're going to need to display the quote, and we'll call this, we need to change the name of the object, and we do that over here. Gosh, learn to click buttons, Ben. So we're going to call this the quote, and then we're going to drop another label in here for the author. And then just to make things easy, you know what? I'm going to make this one larger up top here. So you've got big space for quote, little space for author. We got plenty of space. We can make it larger. We'll do that. And then we'll drop a button. And so there's our three things that we actually need to make this app work. So on the button, I want it to say get quote, just like your car insurance, right? Except not. And then the button, we're going to name get quote. All right, so now we've created the design of what we need. Obviously, if you wanted to spend more time on this than I'm going to today, you could go build in, whatever color scheme you want, and you could put artwork around it, and you can make it really beautiful. I'm going for quick and dirty just to show you how it works, so that you can see sort of the underpinnings. Nobody wants to watch me fiddle with what color of blue I want for my button all day. So we're going to go over to the blocks tab next, and now we're ready to actually build our app. This is the thing that excites me the most about it, because I had no idea that you could make the process of programming quite this simple. So what I want to do is start when somebody clicks the get quote button, and there we have it. So now when somebody clicks get quote, this is what's going to execute. Now, the first thing I'm going to need to do is grab, I'm going to need to create a variable, and I'm going to name it X. And what I'm going to do, because remember, we have a series of quotes in our sheet. We want to be able to do something about that and only pull one at a time. So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to go in the math category, and I'm going to find random integer from 1 to 100, except I don't have 100 quotes. I only have 3. And so we're going to do that. And that's going to give us a variable now that randomly selects which quote is going to get pulled into our app. Okay, so before we do the next part, we actually have to go back into design land because there's something I forgot. And that is we have to create a data source. And I already had that preloaded, so I just was able to add it to this project. But the data source has to be added to the project before it's available for use. So now if I go back into the blocks, you can see a data sources menu has appeared over here in the list. So now that we've added the data source, you can come down here to the data sources tab and you can see there's lots of ways to interact with that data source. We'll get into those in just a moment because what we want to do first is set up what's going to happen. I like to build the Thunkable app from sort of the base level out as much as possible. So the first thing we're going to do after we get that variable created is we're going to use that to update the quote. And so I'm going to come in here to, you see there's a block that says set quotes text to label. And I'm going to drop that in here. And the other thing we're going to do is the same thing with the author. So we want to update the quote block and the author block. And we're going to put values into them. So where are we going to get those values? Well, it's not just the label, right? We have one more step to go, and that's where the data sources come into the picture. So I'm going to come in here to get value from Thunkable, and I'm going to grab this for both of these at the same time because we're going to kind of do the same thing twice. So from the Thunkable data source that I created, I can look at quotes, which is the name of the sheet. Like we can go back here and see I named the sheet quotes. And so I go to the quotes sheet and I have two fields that are determined by that data source. There's an author and a message. So this one is the quote. I'm going to grab the message and I'm going to use row ID. I have to go tell it to use the variable called X. And I'm going to grab this and copy paste it and drop it in here the same because it's going to be the same for both of these. And so I've got one that gets the value of message for row number X, and I've got one that gets the value of author for row number X. And that, my friends, is all there is to a quote of the day generator. So now we can go over to the web preview and we can test this out. It loads up, took a minute, and we hit get quote, and we got a quote. And that came straight off of our Google Sheet, so you can see it actually picked the first quote out of the list this time. And that's the one that it gave us. Let's see what we get if we do it again. These are random. There's a little bit of a delay for some reason, but that's okay. We can actually see that it still updates. Let's see what happens on the next one. Wow. I managed to roll a 1, 2, 3 there. That was really interesting. But you can see it jumps around now and it finds the different values and pulls them into the app. So there's what it takes to create a quote of the day generator app. Now you would be ready to, come to publish, and you could download the iOS version or the Android version, or you could use your credits with Thunkable to publish it directly to an app store if that's what you wanted to do. All of those options are right there. I'm, of course, just testing in here for today. So I hope you had fun with that. I know I did. It's always great to see you, and I'm glad we can play with things and build things together. If you've got any great ideas, feel free to hit me up on one of the channels. I'd love to hear what you would like to see built and what we could work on together. I love fun little projects like this where we can kind of just walk through something together and see what kind of amazing things come out. So happy building, and it's been great to see you. We'll see you next time on the Adventures of Blink.